If a good daily skincare routine is important to you, then check out the clinically superior exfoliation of the active glycolic serum from my friends at averygraham.com. And for free shipping, use the code JOSHVIP. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm thinking about condensing the name of this show from Monday Morning Musings to Monday DM, Monday Double M. Let's see if it sticks. But either way, week 9 in quarantine. Another week. Hope you had some semblance of a weekend. Could feel a difference in the days. Staying indoors on standby. Being patient. Patient like in Warzone. I've been having a lot of fun playing Warzone with my brother on Xbox. And patience is the key to victory. We were able to win one game so far. Get that W. Felt amazing. And I like this format of Battle Royale where you can fight in the gulag to try to come back. It's not as finite compared to, oh, you're dead, time to queue up for our next game, you know? I love being tactical and even jumping in a couple pickup games and meeting people over the microphone and calling out tactical commands and covering each other. It's like in the way of the gun when they're calling out to each other, go, clear, walking. It's really cool because you notice a difference in your success rate. And part of the success is being patient and letting the enemy team make a mistake first and then taking them out. But it's tough. But Warzone's been fun because I've been playing it with friends and playing it with my brother. So I've been playing that. Definitely been playing Mortal Kombat 11. Having a lot of fun. Cranking up Ariana Grande songs while playing Katana. And I'm getting up there in Combat League. It's been fun. I wish I could stream listening to Ariana Grande while I'm playing Combat League, but I can't because of DMCA laws. Otherwise, I'd set it up and rock out. But I just really like rocking out to her music. I'm becoming a fan since I watched. I've always respected her as an artist. Of course, why millions love her, but I never dove into her albums. I never seeked out her music on Spotify or anything until now. And oh my gosh, she is incredible. There's a clip of her on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and she sings that karaoke, or the random karaoke, slot machine karaoke, whatever you call it, but it'll come up with an artist. And I'm sure they've already approved ahead of time which artists they can impersonate, but they'd have a song like Mary Had a Little Lamb, but she does it as Christina Aguilera, and she nails every impression. Celine Dion, Britney Spears, and it's amazing how well she performs. Amazing. And Jimmy Fallon does an amazing job too, as the different people he has to be, especially as Sting. So a great clip that has millions of views, but it wasn't that clip. It was her singing one of my favorite Disney songs of all time from Hercules, I Don't Want to Fall in Love. Meg sings that song because she's starting to be like, uh-oh, I'm starting to fall for this Hercules guy. And I made a deal with Hades. Didn't work out last time. I don't want to get hurt again. She sang this song through that program that was Sing Along from Home that Disney did. And she nailed it. And she did all the backup vocals. And she crushed it. And sometimes when you have an amazing artist that has such an impeccable vocal range and can perform so brilliantly, go way up and down on the scales, you start to feel like you lose the song, right? You kind of lose what the artist was going for that wrote the song. And, it's not a bad thing when you're showing off your talent, but it's kind of like it takes the artist out of the magic. And Ariana Grande nailed it and then gave it a little flair at the end with her talent where she went up and down the scale. And it was like, yes, yes, yes. That was so impeccable, that presentation of that song, because from a business decision as well, not only in the performance out of the park, nailed it. But as a business decision. Here's my audition tape to play Meg in the live action series for Hercules, which has been confirmed that Disney is working on. Wow. Well done. Well done. So if you haven't seen that clip, check it out. You know, we need some positivity here. People are like, why is this dude talking about Disney songs when he's got a picture of Taylor Kish as David Koresh in Waco on his video right now? So, well, folks, because Waco is great. It is on Netflix. It originally was produced for the Paramount Network, which came out in 2018, but I never watched or downloaded anything on the network. However, this so well made. Michael Shannon plays an FBI agent. Taylor Kish plays David Koresh, as I mentioned before. John Leguizamo plays an ATF agent. Paul Sparks plays the right-hand man of David Koresh. One of the McCulkins is in it. I apologize, I forget his first name. We'll talk about it later, but I put it on your list if you haven't seen it. But put this on your list as well. I'm involved with COVAID happening tomorrow, May 5th, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's a charity event to help with COVID relief, and it's benefiting two charities, AmeriCares and Boys and Girls Club. And here's how they're specifically helping these charities. The first one, AmeriCares, this is helping to get PPE, helping to get that equipment to the people on the front lines that are fighting against this and keeping them safe and doing whatever we can within our power to make sure they have that protective barrier as they deal with us, their neighbors, their citizens, the people they swore an oath to protect and help be healed. So it's to help them. The other one is Boys and Girls Club. Somebody needs to babysit the kids of these healthcare workers, and Boys and Girls Club has stepped up. They're the ones watching the kids, helping to watch the kids for all the ones working on the front lines. So if you want to directly benefit those two programs that directly benefit the people it goes to, our frontline workers, you can be a part of this by donating. Now, there's going to be a lot of cool items that have been donated from some people. I will give you an exclusive. I had an interview with John Smoltz, Marmaduke, pitcher for the Atlanta Braves for many years, over 2 decades. He's going to be donating 2 gloves, 2 autographed gloves. Now, how the donations are going to work is every about 15 minutes or so, the highest donator will receive the item, and then also a random person that donated will receive the duplicate item. And that way you can continue to participate and be involved. And we want to entertain and bring a collective force of good that can help now in this current situation. So COVAID, that is tomorrow. Make sure to check that out. The live stream link, all the information is going to be straight from my social media. So follow me on my social media, Mr. Joshua Gray, and you can watch and see what items are being given away and hopefully have a good time. So I know what's in store. I know what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be hosting with Sam. You can follow her on Twitter, just Sam. It's spelled SEUM. But we're going to be showcasing some Warzone with some fun guests. So I look forward to it. But that's what's happening tomorrow. Then after that, Wednesday, we have the Game Audio Network Guild Award Show happening, folks. So this was going to happen at CDC, or GDC, excuse me. We've done these before. CDC. See, I got that Corona on the mind. But this guild, it's a nonprofit organization founded in 2002. It's for game industry veterans, and they're involved in audio, music design, sound design, dialogue for game development. And they want to support members, educating, networking, advocacy, recognition. Hey, people work behind the scenes to make the things that we love sound incredible. And as somebody who's been exposed to the impeccable sound designs of the Mortal Kombat and Injustice series by NetherRealm Studios, who I think are top notch when it comes to that realm of all the realms. Other studios and personnel knock it out of the park. And it's going to be co-hosted by Cody Matthew Johnson and Wilbert Roger II, who you will recognize as one of the guests of the J. Gray podcast. See how it's connected, folks? That's how you network. But he's a great dude and works really hard and created a really cool, fitting sound within the spirit of Mortal Kombat, this latest Mortal Kombat entry, Mortal Kombat 11, for the orchestration. So that is going to be live Wednesday, May 6th. Live Wednesday, May 6th, 5 p.m. The stream's going to start. Twitch.tv/AudioGang.org. AudioGang.org. G.A.N.G, short for Game Audio Network Guild. And they're going to recognize excellence in 20 categories, including music, sound design, dialogue, mix, and virtual reality VR. I want to dip my toes in the VR world, y'all, but I got to build a new PC for that. But trust me, I want to have the resources, hopefully, to do that in the fall so I can enjoy the VR world, see what Half-Life Alyx has to offer, and then Cyberpunk 2077, not for VR, but for the high-powered computer, and enjoying that on my 4K. So check that out. Okay. WACO is so good because it showcases the reasons why reasonable, smart, Harvard-educated people would join a movement like the Branch Davidians, which at its core preached biblical living. But David Koresh was focused on the 7 seals that are part of the book of Revelation. Now, people that are not necessarily in pursuit of nor have the knowledge, education, etc. of the scriptures will follow somebody who appears to have it because that gives them, or at least checks the box of authority. Where do you get your authority from? Well, this ancient text, despite how it was made, gives me that authority. But the other element to this type of group, or how any cult or any religion is formed, in this type of manner of following a charismatic person. And his performance, Tyler Kish's performance here is so well done because it captures why people would follow him because of his compassion and genuinely feeling that he wants to take care of people. But Michael Shannon has a wonderful quote in this show to the effect of, I find it funny with all these different religions that have this prophet, they always want to have, God always tells them they have to have sex with young women. And so much of that harkens to Joseph Smith and other leaders, but this show is very well acted. John Leguizamo does an amazing job as an ATF agent that has, conflictions. Michael Shannon, awesome. Just really, really worth your time. 7 episodes on Netflix, but it'll help give you a better understanding of why good, reasonable people would believe this stuff or believe someone as a figure like David Koresh or other prophets or religious leaders. It's very fascinating. I really enjoyed it. Very well made. And I'm glad that even though it wasn't exposed that much on the Paramount network, it was created in such a quality that I could live over to Netflix. And quality matters. Oh, it matters so much because if it stands the test of time, something like Jurassic Park, which does stand the test of time, that's where that quality matters. And also with music. I'm learning 3 songs right now on guitar, which I feel a lot more satisfied personally, emotionally, playing and singing music. And the 3 songs that I'm learning are Hello Cowgirl in the Sand by Neil Young, Who'll Stop the Rain by Clarence Clearwater Revival, and This Old Town, made famous by Joe Exotic. That's how I want to introduce him. But I'm learning those songs to give myself a goal of not being good at something. I'm okay at guitar. I can know most of the chords, but changing in between the chords, that's tough. Strumming the same beat, that's tough. Seems impossible. I want to walk away from it. but I can't. I want to pursue it every day. If I can pursue, being good at video games every day, I can pursue music every day. And it's taking the action to do it. And I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast with this author who's a Navy SEAL. I apologize, I don't remember his name. But the action, you had to just do it. Just get it done. And then that meme came back, just do it from Shia LaBeouf. So I shouted to the universe, I get it. I got the message. Okay. Getting it done. So got to work at it every single day. But those little efforts, every single day, those little efforts get to it. And folks, I'm finally germinating seeds for marijuana. I renewed my medical license. I got my license to grow, legally. Even though I find it funny that you can't grow a plant. It's a plant, like every other plant. Can you imagine if dandelions were illegal? But that's more of a nuanced argument. However, some of them are starting to germinate or starting to sprout out of their little seeds. I was concerned. I was like, I hope these are not duds. But what you do is you lay a plate down on the counter and moisten up a napkin, and I wring it out, but at least it was just, you can still feel that it was wet. Put it on the plate, then took another one, kind of double folded it, and then made that, soaked, and then rinsed it out, and then put it on top, and then put a plate on top, let it sit outside where it was dry, but it was starting to get too cold and it rained, so I brought it inside. Then I tried to keep it close to my electric radiator. Then I put it in the kitchen to where at least would be, semi-warm all night, and just checked. And then now these little sproutlings are starting to come out of the seeds, and I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm waiting with bated breath to make sure that they're going to take, but there's this feeling of being connected to nature. And I have felt that feeling over the last 2 years. One of the reasons why I wanted to move back here, get away from LA and get back to my roots, was because of the beautiful nature here. Growing up as a Boy Scout and a lot of camping and all sorts of fun stuff like that I wanted to get back to. And it is worth it because of this satisfying feeling of seeing nature grow in front of your eyes. So it's pretty gosh darn cool. And I haven't picked up Animal Crossing yet because I've been working on my own garden. As these people are like, how much is a turnip and all this other stuff? I'm like, dude, if I get some real turnips, how much are some turnip seeds and whatnot and real money? But it's very satisfying to work on the yard. I have to, however, find a solution for the lawnmower and the weed whacker, because these freaking pieces of equipment always are breaking down every year, and I have to get them fixed, and they cost like $125 each to tune them up and whatnot. I'm like, I can just get a new electric version of each one, not even battery powered. I have long enough extension cords, and do it that way. So I'm waiting on my stimulus check. I'm waiting on my tax return. I'm still waiting on paychecks from the last 2 shows that I did before I have maybe a little bit of money to invest in the yard. So we'll see how it goes. But other than that, the grass is sure growing up almost like past my knees in some instances. And I feel bad because I see my neighbors cutting grass and all their grass looks great. And my dad's like, I wouldn't let the yard get like this. I'm like, I know, Dad, but it's a little bit limited when you don't have a vehicle and there's a pandemic of kind of what you can do. Now, what I can do is get on my hands and knees with some shears and shear the grass and then push my manual mower, which I should have just pushed my manual mower to begin with to stay on top of it, but I didn't. I got lazy. And this is all going to come full circle here, folks, because if you just do a little bit every day, it all adds up. Because if you don't do it every day, it adds up the other way. And it becomes like such a big ass task that you don't want to move it or even try to move it. You just rather go back and play your video games. I would say that's probably the biggest struggle. The biggest struggle is that I know that I am progressing in this world by getting better at Mortal Kombat and thinking about tournaments and writing and stuff like that. But I have to also progress in the doing chores and working on the yard and progressing in that world. Because if I don't, I start to feel bad about myself, and then it becomes a downward cycle. And it's funny how that works, especially if you keep walking by the same chore. I know my I've had plenty of things where like, oh, I need to take out that cupboard, and then you wait forever. Then you finally do it. And it took you like 10 minutes to do it. You're like, wow, it took me this long. Yet it was always this burden. It was always this weight on my shoulders that I'd keep thinking about it. So that's my invitation to everybody listening, and to myself as well, is to keep working on those projects, even if it's just a little bit every day at a time. But I promise you, you're going to feel better about it. Man, actually, you know what? That's a really heavy burden for me to promise something, because I have no idea what's going on in your life. I don't. I have no goddamn idea. I just know things are tough. But I have found that I feel the burden of life is lighter when I at least work on something every day that I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about storytelling. And just do it. Just hold on to that. That's what I'm trying to hold on to. Well, I don't know why I got so preachy and philosophical going from WACO. Maybe it's about charisma and, telling people what they want to hear for them to join your movement, instead of telling people for what they need to hear because they needed to hear it. And I'm very happy for the humans in my life that have been there to listen to me and have given me advice, not because they wanted to appear smart or, wanted to take advantage of the situation. They imparted their wisdom because they wanted you to learn from what they had to say. And that's why we hopefully learn from the wisdom of our elders, I'll end with this. It's great to see G.A.N.G and a lot of other people come together. And I hope that we can continue to have this action of coming together to make the video game space a little bit less of the Wild West. And I don't mean about stamping down creativity. What I mean is stamping down crunch and stamping down some of the fringe, brutal elements that in the past unions had helped solve. Perhaps the future, perhaps now. But I know that I need to be more motivated to seek out how organizations are approaching some of the biggest issues I feel are happening, and if it behooves me to join that type of organization as a volunteer or whatnot. That's been a fascinating thought I had earlier of like, oh, well, maybe if I join in a group of activists that are already organized instead of just having my own, I have this quote that I want to put in a movie script where the protagonist says, what am I going to do? Send a tweet? And it just seems that being reduced to just sending tweets about stuff doesn't really give the cathartic purge of anger that many people feel. Man, all right. This is some good weed, y'all. I bought a new bong and I've been smoking some Freddy Fuego stuff, and the bong's from Masterglass, which is local. Let's buy local. Let's make local. I have this bit that popped in my mind yesterday where, when you go to a store, do you want to buy something that has switched so many hands and came over on a ship? Came over on a ship. What year is it? And was made by people who really don't have, the greatest passion for what they do at the cheapest of prices? Or do you want to buy something that's handmade that's going to last longer for, it's going to cost more, but it's made by Bob down the street. So if you got a problem with it, you're like, Bob, hey, this broke. I was like, oh shit. Okay. I'll figure it out. And I won't charge anything for it. Compared to this product doesn't work, being on hold with somebody who's in Bangladesh for customer support, finding out that you have to ship it to a center in Texas, that's a distribution center. Then once that's shipped, you get the confirmation that it's leaving the country. So then it finally, in this, I'm not saying it's bad. The supply chain, however, has become so much exertion for traveling around the globe. And we've lost this we've lost this element of being able to self-sustain our own production. And that has been another wake-up call for this entire scenario, which is why WACO is so fascinating, because it's about a group of people that are gathering for a trying time that's coming. And those that have gathered and prepared are in a better circumstance than others that haven't. But I wonder if we can have more charismatic leaders that prepare us properly, that give us the facts, that supports science, that will tell us the cold, hard truths, yet give us the plan of how to fight our way through it or find our way through it, rather than bumbling around and ping-ponging back and forth based off what the media says, be it fair or unfair, which there are arguments for both sides on that one. Leaders that can cut through the noise and give that anchor, that hope, that rod to hold on to, which is why so many people on the frontier of America in a chaotic time latched on to leaders in the religious fervor that was the burned over district, including, the legacy of the Mormons, but why so many people cling to that type of false hope, grifters, and otherwise lost people that say so many pretty words and fancy language, but at the end can only give deciphered answers from an ancient book. Just really fascinating storytelling. I welcome you all again to check out COVAID, and I welcome you to check out the G.A.N.G Awards as well. I will be tweeting and pushing that stuff out on my social media, Mr. Joshua Gray, Twitter, Instagram, and you're already here on YouTube. I keep telling myself one of the things on my list I got to do is to upload all of the J. Gray podcast episodes onto Apple Music and Spotify. It's on my list of things to do, folks, so I'm going to try to get to that this upcoming week. Stay safe, stay sane, and if you can, read a book, one in your hands. I'm going to start doing that as well. I will see you next week. I will see you online.